be fun.
All right, so let's get the giant gator in the room here. Let's talk about this. Anthony Richardson declared for the draft this week. To say opinions on him are mixed would be cutting that statement very short. There are people I've seen that will say he's QB1 in this class. I've seen it.
No way.
I have seen it. I'm not saying that I value the opinion of the people who have said it, but I'm saying I've seen it. I currently have Anthony Richardson as QB6 in this class. So I answer this question of, is Anthony Richardson worth a 1? No. And that's where I'm at.
He's 6 for me too. At this point, I think maybe I'm being a little facetious and he should be 5th on my board, but I'm going to be lower on him than consensus. It sounds like you are too going forward. I just can't recall a quarterback with this profile that, 1-year starter. I mean, literally last season, I think he started 1 game, maybe 2 games. So 13 games he started. He's played for Florida as a quarterback, essentially. And, has multiple games, 3 games under 10 completions, has a completion percentage under 54%. Like, I can't find, I was trying to find a guy, Christian Hackenberg, that's like the name that comes to mind, of a guy that struggled, but had the tools, the upside, and went in the top 100. I couldn't find a top 100 quarterback that even fits what Richardson is. Now, we're going to see the 2-point conversion play on loop. We're going to see the size and the speed and the strength. I mean, his workouts, he's going to be a 10 RAS score guy, right? Like he's going to be. He will. And I think that is what sells you, right? You have a 6'4", 240 quarterback that looks like Cam Newton running the football. That can sell you. He's got an arm. He's got a live arm, but he can't hit anyone. Even in his best statistical game this year, throwing for 400 yards against Vanderbilt, I mean, he was under 60% completion. He was missing wide open receivers. Like, how do you draft that in the first round? I think it's going to be a mistake. I mean, in my mock this week, I had him going in the 2nd round to the New York Giants. I think that's like best case scenario, right? Put him with Brian Dabble, who developed Josh Allen, and try to get something out of this. That's what it's going to take. Maybe we look foolish at the end of this, but I just can't see Anthony Richardson as a quarterback. I do think you take him day 2 because, and Dennis just put this out in the chat, like worst case, you put him at tight end and you have a guy that's a heck of a tight end. So I think there is a nice floor for Richardson in the NFL.
You mentioned his RAS score. You know who else had a 10 RAS score that I was incredibly high on, and I'm not getting fooled by this again? Tyree Jackson.
Well, yeah.
Who I think could develop into being a nice tight end for the Philadelphia Eagles. So there's that. But
that's fair. Little different schools there, but
correct. But throughout the years, I've been lower than consensus on Daniel Jones. I had him in the 70s. Goes in the top 10. I think I feel vindicated for that. I don't think Daniel Jones is a very good quarterback. Josh Allen, I also had in the 70s.
Right.
That one didn't work out.
No.
And then let's go back to last year, Malik Willis. And he ends up actually getting drafted, I think, in the 70s. So, that one, the NFL agreed that that's where he should be selected. I guess you're drafting Anthony Richardson in the first round. You're hoping he develops into Cam Newton, right? I mean, that's the dream, right? A guy with that kind of running ability and athleticism. But in reality, Malik, he's a bigger Malik Willis as a prospect to me. That's the accuracy issues with Willis were there too. Huge arm. He had no idea where he was throwing the football half the time. And I think that's the same thing with Anthony Richardson, where we're going to look at is just the accuracy is so poor that it's hard for me to overlook all of the other intangibles.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's fair. He also is going to have, 15 pounds on Malik Willis and probably is as fast.
Yeah.
So I think athletically, you're getting a better player. I mean, I agree with you. At least Malik Willis started for 2 years. At least you felt like you had something to work with. I think the footwork and the, even the windup and just how he kind of points the football, I think is just way off. That I just can't recall. The other top 100 quarterback that I thought of, this guy started though 3 years, was Kevin O'Connell was the other one. Like that's the only other guy with this kind of statistical, hit. And like even Cam Newton, if you're saying, okay, that's the upside, that's what you want to get out of him. I mean, Cam Newton, a 66% passer in college. It's not like he was missing guys like this.
Kevin O'Connell was the San Diego State, right? And
yeah, current
now
head coach of the Minnesota Vikings.
The Vikings, yeah. so maybe Minnesota drafts him late in the first round.
And like, to me, that's an ideal situation where you have Kirk Cousins. He's not going anywhere. Like Anthony Richardson cannot play as a rookie. He cannot. I think that would be super detrimental. You need somewhere he can sit. If the Giants sign Daniel Jones back, or the Seahawks bring back Geno Smith, like that's where I want Anthony Richardson to go. If he goes to a spot where like, wow, they really need a quarterback and they draft him, that's scary. I think that's a problem if he gets forced in too early.
So 1A, 1B right now, Young and Stroud. We're there. We both have Anthony Richardson 6. I think we have differing 5s, but and probably 4s for that matter. But